Jonathan Majors' ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari, has sued the former Marvel actor for defamation, malicious prosecution, assault, and battery, detailing more instances where Majors allegedly physically abused her during their nearly two-year relationship, according to legal documents obtained by Rolling Stone. The professional dancer and movement coach filed suit in the Southern District of New York on Tuesday, claiming Majors has consistently engaged in an escalating pattern of abusive behavior towards women since as early as 2013. When publicly confronted with Grace's numerous allegations of abuse, Majors has called her a liar at every turn and very specifically claimed that he has never put his hands on a woman, with the goal of convincing the world that Grace is not a victim of domestic abuse, but instead a crazy liar who should be treated as such, the lawsuit claims. It takes true bravery to hold someone with this level of power and acclaim accountable, Jabari's attorney Brittany Henderson said in a statement to Rolling Stone. Bravery that Grace Jabari has demonstrated at every stage of the legal process. We strongly believe that through this action, truth and transparency will bring Grace the justice that she deserves. Rolling Stone has contacted Majors' attorney for comment. The civil suit comes nearly 1 year after Majors was arrested for attacking Jabari after a fight broke out over his phone, when Jabari saw him receive a romantic text from another woman. Although Majors maintained his innocence and claimed Jabari was the aggressor that night, a jury found Majors guilty of reckless assault in the third degree and harassment. In December, he was acquitted of the two more serious charges, intentional assault and aggravated harassment. Majors was due to be sentenced in February, but the date was pushed to April 8, after his legal team filed a last-minute motion for the judge to overturn the verdict. The civil suit claims that Majors was physically violent with Jabari at multiple points during their relationship, after meeting on the set of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania in August 2021, including a September 2022 incident in London. Majors is accused of throwing Jabari onto the hood of a car, covering her mouth as she shouted for help. After bringing her back inside their home, he allegedly banged her head against the marble floor, while strangling her until she felt she could no longer breathe, according to court documents. Majors allegedly threatened to kill Jabari, who sustained a head injury and could barely move without pain and have a constant ringing headache. During the trial, prosecutors and Jabari were barred from discussing previous instances of alleged physical abuse, because the case only focused on the charges from March 2023. These alleged previous incidents were prepared as evidence, but were deemed inadmissible, after Majors' legal team argued they were highly prejudicial. The September 2022 incident was briefly mentioned during the trial, but no details of how Jabari sustained an injury were given, only that Majors pleaded with her not to go to the hospital and threatened to kill himself. The civil suit lists 5 causes of action, including intentional infliction of emotional distress, malicious prosecution, and defamation. Jabari is seeking compensatory damages and punitive damages in an amount that is to be determined at trial. Jabari's legal team argues that Majors defamed their client by making numerous false statements, saying that both Majors and his attorneys are keenly aware of Grace's allegations, that Majors has physically laid hands on her on more than one occasion. They highlighted Majors' January interview with ABC News, where he said he didn't know how Jabari sustained her injuries, and claimed he has never hit a woman. "My hands have never struck a woman." Last month, Majors' ex-girlfriends Emma Duncan and Maura Hooper came forward to the New York Times to claim they had also been physically and/or were emotionally abused during their relationships with Majors. Their testimonies were prepared as evidence that was not allowed into the trial. Their accounts were first referred to in Rolling Stone's investigation from last June, where more than a dozen sources independently corroborated details of the alleged abuse. Through his attorney, Majors denied claims of physical abuse at the time and described his relationships with both women as toxic. At the time, Duncan and Hooper declined to comment for the original article, with one of the women through a spokesperson, citing fear of retribution. Major's attorney, Priya Chaudhry, continued to double down on the defamatory attack, the lawsuit alleges. Citing her interview with New York magazines, the cut where she is quoted, "Honestly, I don't give a shit. The idea that I should coddle Jabari feels like suggesting I should coddle the woman who accused Emmett Till." The malicious prosecution claim pertains to Majors filing a police report against Jabari in June, alleging that she was the aggressor the night before his arrest. The DAS office declined to prosecute the case, citing a lack of prosecutorial merit. Jabari's attorneys described the police report as a truly desperate attempt to discredit his victim. Before trial, the biggest revelation from the civil suit comes from full details surrounding a spate of September 2022 incidents that were bombshell moments from the trial. While some portions of the disputes were discussed during the trial, the suit claims that the fights culminated with Majors allegedly attacking and strangling Jabari, which led her to try and seek medical aid. The couple began living together in London in August 2022, while Majors was filming the Disney Plus series Loki. At this juncture, Majors' erratic, intemperate, and physically violent behavior continued to increase towards Grace, the suit claims. The prolonged fight allegedly began when Majors became upset with Jabari for going to a pub with a friend and having the friend back over to their house. Majors had just finished personal training and became very angry with Grace for having company, the suit alleges. The next morning, confrontation ensued, and Jabari testified at trial that Majors claimed she was stupid if she didn't know what she had done wrong. During this fit of rage, Majors was screaming at Grace in her face and threatening that she had better not be at the house when he returned, the suit claims. Back at their home, according to the complaint, Jabari heard Majors barreling up the stairs. When he arrived at the bedroom, he began throwing objects in anger. Grace was able to escape from the home before Majors was able to physically hurt her. Majors allegedly texted Jabari and reasoned with her, saying that they made a plan. "And now that you've told your parents, the whole marriage plans are ruined." They reunited, but Jabari claimed Majors became angry again and began chastising her. Prosecutors played an audio recording of the fight where Majors is heard admitting he has a temper, and that he expected Jabari to hold herself to the standards of Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama in order to support him. On Sept. 2022, Majors became physically aggressive, the suit claims, when Majors pushed Grace so hard that it bruised her backside. Jabari attempted to leave the house, and Majors allegedly picked Grace up in the air and threw her against the hood of her car, according to court documents. Grace began shouting for help. Majors then forcefully grabbed Grace, placing her in a headlock, and put his hand over her mouth to prevent someone from hearing her cries for help. He brought Grace back into their house and held his hands around her neck, stating that he wanted to kill her and that he was going to kill her. Majors then started hitting Grace's head against the marble floor while strangling her until she felt she could no longer breathe. The aftermath of the alleged attack made its way into trial, after Judge Michael Gaffey ruled that Majors' attorney's line of questioning during Jabari's cross-examination opened the door for texts discussing Jabari's injuries as a result of the fight to enter the trial. Majors later texted Jabari and pleaded with her not to go to the hospital, according to the suit and evidence shown at trial, saying, "I fear you have no perspective of what could happen if you go to the hospital. They will ask you questions, and as I don't think you can actually protect us, it could lead to an investigation, even if you do lie and they suspect something." Some of Jabari's responses were redacted during the trial, but the lawsuit says Jabari went on to tell Majors, "Why would the man I love throw me around, strangle me, and look at my eyes and say he hates me and wants to kill me? I'm reminded of what happened each waking second, because I can barely move without pain. I also have to heal physically. That's not me stating other than facts. I have endured a bad head injury and I feel unwell. I have brain fog. I have a constant ringing headache. Majors called himself a monster and horrible man and threatened to kill himself, according to the lawsuit and texts shown at trial. Jabari wrote that she would not go to the doctor if you don't feel safe with me doing so, or don't trust me to. I promise I would never mention you, but I understand your fear. The suit also detailed another incident from June 2022 in Los Angeles, when Majors allegedly became angry with Jabari and began shouting in her face. He pinned her arms to her side before shoving her against a shower door and throwing her against a wall, which caused her to hit her head, the suit claims. Later, Majors threw candles and objects around their bedroom. Photos of the wreckage were shown at trial, and Majors admitted in his interview with ABC News that he lost his temper. The accusations of additional physical assaults follows Jabari's testimony during trial, which she described as a whirlwind romance that quickly darkened. Jabari claimed Majors would allegedly fly into a rage, attempt to control her behavior, throw glass objects around her, and routinely threatened to commit suicide in the aftermath of such incidents. Jabari testified that she felt responsible for Majors' emotions and grew increasingly isolated from her friends and family because she felt like she was lying by hiding aspects of her relationship from them. In his ABC News interview, Majors described his relationship with Jabari as toxic. In the span of a year, Majors' career had a tremendous freefall. He went from early Oscar buzz and box office successes with Creed III and Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, to his management company and publicist dropping him, and all future projects being shelved. Hours after a jury found Majors guilty, Marvel announced they were severing ties with him. Still, Majors says he's hoping for a comeback and was seen on the red carpet at the Knock Image Awards on Sunday night with girlfriend Meagan Good. While Majors says he plans on filing an appeal in his New York criminal trial, there is a looming investigation in London. In November, London's Metropolitan Police confirmed to Rolling Stone that there is an ongoing investigation into the September 2022 incident, which included allegations of physical assaults.